last week, my bottom split moment was the saga of me buying a faulty graphics card.
Okay.
What we didn't get to touch on was that story got more interesting after that. So, I bought that last Friday, I think? Maybe Saturday, I can't remember. And then I was busy throughout the week, so on Friday afternoon, I went and I took it back to Best Buy, and I was like, hey, this doesn't work. Can I do like an exchange or a return or something? And they're like, yeah, sure. And they open it up, and then immediately the guy goes, hang on, we have a problem. The serial numbers on these don't match. And I was like, what? So he's like, yeah, we can't return it because this doesn't, like, the product in the box does not match what it says on the box. And I'm like, that's extremely weird because I literally put it in my computer for 5 minutes. It didn't work.
The one.
I put it back in the box. Like, you can come to my house and I can prove that I didn't steal one of these. So I brought it home and I told my roommate about it, she's better at building computers than I am. And we look at it, and she points out that it's not even the same model of graphics card. So the one I bought was an RX 6600, and the one in the box was an RX 6600 XT with completely different serial numbers and also, like, notable dust deposits all over it. And, like, have you ever seen, like, when a car has, like, aluminum headers in it and they get, like, the burn marks on parts of it? It had, like, that on the, like, cooling tubes on it and everything. And I was like, what the hell is this? So I contact AMD about it, and I'm like, what the hell, man? And they're like, oh, sorry, you got to go through Best Buy. And I was like, I just did. So then so when I get home today, I contact Best Buy's, like, live chat support. Keep in mind, I only have, like, 2 days left on my return window, so I'm, like, panicking that I'm like, I'm screwed if I don't take care of this, like, right now. And when I try to go through, like, the order page, they're like, oh, yeah, just send it in. And I'm like, it didn't give me an opportunity to fill in what's wrong with it. So if I do that, it's going to get there, and then they'll be like, what the hell, you're trying to rip us off, and then you're going to send it back, and I'm not going to get my money back. So I contact live chat about it, and the lady's like, dude, I don't know, like, you just got to take it into the store and talk to the manager about it. Like, you can save this chat transcript. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I take it in there. Dude's super helpful. He listens to the whole thing, because I was like, when I was in here last, I didn't know these were mismatched. And so I don't know what's going on. And he's like, okay. He's like, we've only sold, like, one of these and only processed one return of this model that you've ever done here. I'm going to go check the security camera footage to make sure nothing, like, shady shows up. And if so, then we can do an exchange. And so he's back there for, like, 10 minutes. He comes back up and he's like, so we're going to do an exchange. I'm not going to do a return. And I'm like, that's totally fine. I just want a working graphics card. Like, I don't really care. And I was asking him, I'm like, did you see something on the camera or what? He's like, we didn't really see much on the camera, but I noticed immediately when you brought it in, I looked at it, so that was the one that had been previously returned. And before that, it was bought at a different location and then returned to the one that I bought it from 2 days later. So somebody did some shady stuff with the graphics card and then returned it to a different location to get them off the trail. And then, of course, because it's my luck, I ended up with it. But I have a new one, and we double-checked. I probably should. That might show my address on it. But we double-checked, and it has matching serial numbers. And this one looked like it was brand new. So I'm going to throw this in my computer after we finish this podcast, and hopefully it works.
Hell yeah.
So, but
beautiful.
If not, if this one's also bad, then I'm just going to accept the loss and be out $230.
No!
So,
Wait,
yeah,
no!
what can I do? I've already brought one faulty one back. I can't go back again and be like,
no,
this second one's also faulty.
You go right back to that manager and you said this one doesn't work either. And he'll give you a third one.
It's going to be like, have you ever seen the Bob's Burgers episode where he keeps throwing the turkeys that he buys in the toilet while he's sleeping, and he has to keep going back to the same deli counter and be like, oh, I guess you want another turkey then, I guess. That's going to be me.
Jesus. Well, Matt, I don't care about your money. Just make sure you upload your audio before you tear apart your computer.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, that too. So,
I don't care about that.
So, Davey, what was your bottom split moment of the week?
We're doing this early?
Yeah, why not?
My bottom split moment of the week came today when I had, like, the worst day of work ever. And I kind of don't want to get, like, super off topic at the start of the podcast, but
Oh, no.
So like dating the podcast. Today was a total solar eclipse for a lot of the U.S. and we got partial coverage here in Florida. While that was happening, I'm like freaking out, like doing work. Like I'm losing my mind because I'm experiencing this like issue that doesn't exist for some reason. like I can't like Googling this issue. So I don't even know how to explain this. It's like when you ever have like a problem that like, is it like, that if you Google it, like stupider people have had this problem and they just don't know how to fix, like they just like haven't experienced enough, and like you're not having that same problem, but you're having that same problem sort of thing. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
I'm like having trouble exporting. Okay. I'm having trouble exporting JPEGs at a resolution higher than 150 ppi. I work in printing, and I design in 1/10 scale.
That's a problem.
So I'm designing things at 15 pixels per inch, apparently, is the only thing I can export at. And I can't export it out as a JPEG. I can, however, export it out as a TIFF, which if you don't know what TIFF files are, it's like a JPEG, but it holds more data. And so Illustrator is telling me, no, you can't export that JPEG at this resolution, but you can export that TIFF. You can export to a TIFF at that resolution, giving you a 1.7 gigabyte file. That's totally fine. You don't have to lower the resolution for that. So I have three 1.7 gigabyte files sitting in my Google Drive for work that I apparently have to use now. I'm just asking Illustrator to do less work. So like my problem is I can't export at a resolution high enough for what I want. But when I Google that problem, it's people who are like designing wall wraps that are like 800 feet wide, and like, why can't I export this at 350 pixels per inch? It's like, well, because that's insane. But I have a real problem where I'm suddenly not able to do this one thing. And so I Google it like an insane person. I go outside for the total eclipse and I'm like huffing and puffing, talking about like, I don't get it. So like the neighbors think I'm tweaking out at the moon or something. Like it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever experienced in my life. I am a broken man today. I'm so beat down. I spent hours working. I still don't have a solution. My only solution right now is to save it as a PDF, open it in Photoshop, then do the same thing that Illustrator cannot do. Just unbelievable. Anyway, that's my good rant. I'll probably cut a lot of that out of the audio version. The audio version, I'm cutting it.
Nah, leave it.
That reminds me of a we're getting more off topic. A hyper-specific bug that exists only in the art program Paint Tool Sai. So Paint Tool Sai also, it's a Japanese program, so all of the documentation is in a language that I can't read. And one of the main reasons why I stopped using it is it's like proprietary layered file format that it uses is a .sai, but it can also save as PSDs. The problem is if you accidentally save it as a PSD, you can't export any other file that you have open as any other thing. Like, it completely breaks the saving function except for PSDs. And it's not only for that file, it's for any other file that you had open when you did that. So if you save something as a PSD, you have to then take it to like Photoshop or GIMP to export it as a PNG if you need it to. So it's like you plant a time bomb on accident if you accidentally save as a PSD. That
must have been what I've done. Something like that.
It's one of the most baffling things I've ever seen.
I updated my drivers and did a fresh install of Adobe Illustrator. Did not fix it. I have no idea what's going on. It's unbelievable. JPEGs only. Whatever.
That's a good thing Adobe's doesn't have a monopoly on the software industry.
Shut up.
Oh, of course.
I don't even want to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Joe, bomb split moment, and then we can get into this damn show.
We're doing the podcast in reverse this week.
We'll do a road to pro. We'll end on a good note.
Because we always do. Bottom split moment to the Walmart by me because they didn't have bubble bath for adults. They only had children's bubble bath. So
unbelievable.
That's my bottom split.
Joe was really upset that we started off with bottom split moment of the week because he wanted to wait. He wanted to save that one for the end when no one was listening.
I like the contrast too. As I'm at Best Buy, like, no, I didn't rip you off.
$300.
Davy's
job,
screaming at his computer at work, and
bubble
Joe's
bath.
like, man, I just want to take a bubble
We
bath.
all looked insane this week. Joe's like, where's the adult bubble bath? Matt's like, I'm not scamming you, and I'm screaming at the moon, I don't get it. Like, if we all just look insane this week, apparently.
Folks, welcome to the Fake Racers podcast. I'm Joe. That's Davey. Down below is Matt. Thank you so much for watching this week. Make sure, if you haven't already, drop a like on the video, subscribe, follow us on our social media at track_and_turf for track and turf, and then at Fake Racers for more Fake Racer specific content where Davey is absolutely killing the S-posting game. Let's just get right into it because Hendrick Motorsports, did you know it was their 40th anniversary race? And did you know they had a bunch of employees and fans and stuff, and they sold special ticket packages, and they had the bright red cars? Oh, and guess what? They finished 1, 2, 3. William Byron wins. Chase Elliott finished second, Kyle Larson third. Alex Bowman finished 8th.
Man, what
Did you
better
know?
way for us to just fold right into how weirdly bad the Fox broadcasts were this week. And like most of the season, they haven't been great. But like the shining spot has mostly been the booth.
Yeah.
But everything else just seems to be getting worse. Like the actual broadcast direction, like they care less every week.
It
It's
went to
kind of
FS1 this
fascinating.
week, which in years past, when the broadcasts go to FS1, it seems like they're lower rent.
Yeah. You could see it. You could definitely see it.
Congratulations to Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez on their Martinsville wins.
I couldn't believe that. I'll make sure we retweet that graphic or something like tonight, so everyone can kind of see it if they want to.
That
on
was
the
atrocious.
Fake Racers page. But so for anyone who didn't see it and anyone who's not on social media, they put up a graphic of previous winners at Martinsville, and
Blaney was the only one they got right.
they were mostly wrong.
Yeah.
We posted a tweet in here. Where is it?
I think I just sent it straight to you.
You did send it straight to me. That's right.
Because my roommate and I were watching, and he caught it, and I was like, wait, what? And then, so I rewound, and then I didn't take a picture of it. But yeah, no, there it was.
They only got one correct, and that was Blaney last fall. They had Logano winning in the spring of 23, Kyle Busch in fall of 22, Suarez in spring of 22, and then Chastain in fall of 21.
When he was driving
those
the
aren't-
42 car.
Yeah.
Like, those aren't, like, just, ooh, we messed up. Like, those are completely wrong. Like, those are wrong entirely.
Yeah, and something like that wouldn't be that big of a deal if it wasn't that, like, it's such a perfect sign of how bad Fox's broadcasts have been. Because it's like we've seen stuff like that before where like a graphic shows the wrong name or number graphic on it before, but it was like almost the entire thing was completely wrong and it was in the middle of a terrible
You
broadcast.
had to try to screw that up,
Yeah.
Yes,
right? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
that was pathetic. There were some other gaffes. I think during the truck broadcast they had people in the wrong trucks, or something.
God.
The truck broadcast, honestly, I just write that up. That's like a high school project at this point. I don't
It's
look at
their
that as a
it's
real
their
TV
development broadcast.
Yeah, like, and that one, the booth doesn't even save it because Jamie Little, as good as she is on pit road, is awful in the booth.
I'm glad I've steered you guys towards that because I hate the people that like just trash her completely. But like,
Well, I think that's an important distinction because, I mean, anyone who knows anything understands that, right? Like, and like anyone knows that, like, pit reporter and, you know, booth play-by-play, whatever, anything in the booth at all, actually, not even just play-by-play or whatever. Like, booth to pit road is such a jarring transition. It's why Dr. Jerry Punch was not good in the booth. He was phenomenal on pit road, but, you know, it's two different kinds of stories you need to tell, and asking someone to change how they've been telling stories. I mean, Jamie Little's been down on pit road for how long? At least a decade, right? Like, more than that. Like, you're asking her to completely change up how she approaches race broadcasts, and it doesn't work in the booth. And we keep seeing it, you know.
Vince Welch,
Vince Welch,
Yeah,
another
Vince
great
Welch.
example.
he got pushed out of the sport because of it.
Very unfortunate, because again, another talented person who just lost their spot because we need to fill up a booth spot. We don't want to pay any good talent, which I'm pretty sure is exactly what that is. Same with the Xfinity broadcasts, but the Xfinity broadcasts have the added advantage of Adam Alexander, who's really good at his job, and at the very least, even when he's a little bit off step, when he's a little bit off sync with everyone, he at least has good chemistry with the drivers, so he can kind of work through it.
Mm-hmm.
And he can kind of have some of the drivers pull the weight, and he brings them into the broadcast really well too. Truck broadcast does not have that, and the Cup
unless
broadcast,
when he's in the booth, because he does some of the truck broadcasts. There's a distinct difference
That's
in the booth
true,
during the
true.
during the races that Double A is in there versus Jamie.
Yeah, and then I mean, you look at the Cup booth, and it's wildly improved from seasons past. You kind of have a really good balance. Mike Joy almost seems like he likes his job again. Kevin Harvick is phenomenal, and Clint Boyer gets reined in by Kevin Harvick. But at the very least, we have that person now. We have that person that can do that, and Clint Boyer being Kevin Harvick's little brother at multiple race teams at this point, it makes sense. But none of that can cover up how bad the race broadcast direction has been across all three series, even Cup.
Yep.
Like what they should be the best at. What is the big show? They drop the ball time and time again.
Oh, and how could you not, right? Like, come on.
And it doesn't do Jamie Little any favors too. Like
exactly.
you said, when the direction is so bad, because it's like, yeah, figure it out. So. And like the example I always go back to is like Fox has won multiple Emmys for their sound production for Cup races, and it's terrible now.
Yeah.
Like it's like they forgot what crank it up means.
Yep.
Because they do
Pit
that
stops.
segment and everything's super quiet.
Pit stops.
Honestly, that's a whole thing in itself too. I'm glad you brought that up, Matt, because that's another thing that bothers me is I really miss like the old Cup races where they would pump the sound up and like. Yeah. A lot of people have been posting about thrilling commentary and it's like something normal or and other instances where there's no commentary happening. No commentary happening isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's horrible, however, when they don't have the car noises cranked up like they used to coming to the end of the race, or you don't have crowd noise pumped in from mics at the track, and all you hear is like the low rumble of the cars as if there was a microphone a mile away. And then no one's talking. It sounds really dumb. But back in the day, if Alan Bestwick shut up and then you heard 3 or 4 race cars roar past you, it sounded really cool. Like no one's on the same page anymore.
Yeah, I don't get it. The best example of like great sound production, I mentioned last year the finish of the Chicago Street Course, where like Rick Allen was completely drowned out by the crowd at the finish almost.
Oh yeah.
But go back and watch the 2012 Michigan race when Junior broke his winless streak. The explosion of crowd noise after Bestwick calls that finish is unreal. Or no, it wasn't Alan Bestwick. It was I think it was TNT was broadcasting it.
Was it Adam Alexander then?
I think it was Adam Alexander, yeah. But the crowd noise is unreal how loud it is. That like, and obviously they crank it up at the finish of that. And it's like it Fox's broadcasts feel so lifeless because it's like how I've mentioned watching the truck race or truck series feels like you're watching the race through a keyhole. Like you never feel like you're getting everything. And the truck or the sound design sounds like you're watching like the race from the other side of a door. You don't feel like you're there. And it's such a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
there's a lot of notable points there, but all together. Get it together. Superhero stuff didn't bother me because it was just silly. It was just dumb.
Silly.
Like
yeah.
It bothered me in that sense, but it wasn't like this is ruining the broadcast for me. Stuff like horrible sound design, all the other stuff everything we just brought up.
Yeah.
Way more to, disenfranchise me from caring about the race. Did I use the word right? I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right.
A lot of brain stuff happening.
A lot of anger and frustration. 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Passing on the short tracks, that's frustrating, isn't it?
That's another thing that's brought a lot. Dude, people have been tweaking on Twitter, on various podcasts. People are freaking out. I've never seen people this upset about this.
Do you know what the problem is?
It's a new level of upset. What's the problem, Joe?
Shifting. And
it's a problem.
Yeah.
And tires.
I agree. But I want to talk about that again, even though we've talked about it a million times. But I have another question, Joe.
Go ahead.
Why, and Matt for that matter, Why do we think?
I'm on this podcast,
Why does it seem like? Because now crew chiefs are getting in on it, right? Why are so many industry people suddenly blaming tires? What happened? Why are so like Chris Gabehart has been on a tirade about the tires since Sunday afternoon? Why are the crew chiefs so is there like something to the shifting where like the crew chiefs are like, no, we don't want to give that up. That's an advantage. So we'll blame the tires.
Well, because
What's going on?
So the shifting, right? We talked about it a lot 2 years ago when this new car debuted, and talked about it at Martinsville specifically.
Yeah.
Shifting can make up for a driver mistake.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference in the tires, right? Tires don't fall off enough. They don't make up for a driver mistake, right?
Right.
So that's what it is. It's insulating the driver more. So that's why you don't go towards the shifting, or at least that's where I'd say it. But I don't know, Matt.
Well, I was going to say, I think if you're a crew chief, you're going to blame the thing that you don't have to pay for changing. So, because it's like, if we're going to change gear ratios and the transmission, that's a lot of cost on the teams. And it's like, well, we just blame Goodyear instead. But it's really funny, too, that like we're complaining about the tires not falling off when however many weeks ago at Bristol, when it was, I mean, obviously, yes, Bristol was
Weird.
an extraordinary case. But it was like, we got a race with heavy tire fall off, and I know the drivers and teams hated it, but it was a great race. And then it's like, well, do you guys want that or not?
But even then after that race, there are a lot of drivers and a lot of the drivers and teams were kind of like, yeah, no, keep that. That was fine.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's an aspect they can control, and like the next gen hasn't existed in a time where we've had to deal with
Heavy tire wear.
I mean, well, okay, well, like even that kind of bothers me because like there was a second and a half of fall off yesterday. Like,
so
what are we talking about? Again, the crew chiefs are the crew chiefs are like advocating for something, and it's for a reason. When the crew chiefs start advocating for something, when I notice crew chiefs get on social media, and I notice crew chiefs start saying stuff, I notice people say, "Oh, we spoke to this crew chief with this driver," and they all start saying the same thing. It makes me start to believe that there's something else going on. That there's a reason why they are all suddenly saying, "Oh, we need tires that do this now," and they don't want to have shifting. Because even Denny Hamlin, who has blamed shifting more than anybody on his podcast, on Actions Detrimental, has been blaming the tires and the fall off. We got to get with Goodyear. We got to figure something out. It's unacceptable. And it's like, well, what about that other thing that was really important?
Yeah.
It's really confusing, and it's really intriguing to see it, and it's intriguing to see them like shift that narrative so hard. And I know some people are still talking about shifting, but like, wow.
I guess, yeah, you're right, Matt. Cost. Yeah.
I think it's
tires
a
are the
combo of
same
that.
cost.
And I was going to say, I think it's a combo of that, and like you said, it's taken something out of the hands of the drivers, where the 5-speed gearbox gives them a little wiggle room, and it's like if you change that to a bespoke 4-speed just for that race, then not only is it really expensive, but now as a driver you have to be on it more.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest reason why is they don't want to deal with gearbox issue. They
just
want to
make sure they're giving their driver as many tools as possible.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
hate crew chiefs.
That's the thing, right? No, I hate crew chiefs. I hate them. I love them. They're cool, but like I hate them because, like they don't do this stuff for no reason. There's always a reason with them. Yeah. They're way too smart.
I hate
right?
engineers.
Chris Gabehart's too damn smart to be like, oh, it's suddenly the tire. Hey, look, everyone, it's the tire. We took pictures of the tire here. Like, there's pictures of the tire guys on the cruise checking wear bars. Who lets that get out? We never have pictures of that unless it's a test day. What?
Yeah.
Like, no one sees that as weird that we suddenly have pictures of teams testing wear from the track on a race day? Come on. Use your brain.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. So,
anyway, people are missing the mark, and we're going to end up messing around with tires, and it's not going to do anything. And I mean, we may get a really hard tire that
it did something once, right?
Slips and slides and stuff, but then the hard tire that slips and slides, it doesn't wear. So,
yeah.
All right.
What are you gonna do?
The biggest problem is the next gen just corners too well. It needs to suck more. I mean, that's really the
needs to
biggest
suck.
part.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with the road courses, right? The Gen 6
Yeah.
car was so good. It was so good on road courses and short tracks because it sucked.
Yeah.
It physically sucked going around those tracks.
Mhm.
So,
Make racing shitty again.
no, make the race cars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because then the racing will be
Anyway.
good.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Hendrick went 1, 2, 3. That's where we started.
Who cares?
Nobody cares. Well,
Do
I'm sure.
you want to do a little Hendrick glazing? What's your favorite Hendrick moment of the last 40 years?
Dude, that was. Oh my god. I wasn't even paying attention to the broadcast because I was just like, okay, this weekend was WrestleMania. Well, I'll talk about that in my Road to Pro moment because that's my moment. But, could not have cared less about the race, any of the racing this weekend. I don't know what it was.
I was kind of in the same boat. Yeah.
I kind of foresaw that Hendrick was going to win too, because it was like, well, why wouldn't they? Shout out Dirty Modo. That's the best podcast out there if you're not listening to it. Because yeah, Steve Letarte going on and saying, if you don't think Hendrick's going to win, what are you doing? That's the craziest way to open. Who do you think we should bet on to win the race?
Yeah, basically.
Shout out to the people that had Martin Truex Jr. as the favorite Fox bet. All right, let's go from the shop then. There was a little bit of shop talk.
We have one big one.
I was gonna say, are we not gonna mention the other two races? Or
No, who cares?
Xfinity was. I mean, we kind of touched a little bit on Xfinity with the Fox broadcast missing.
Oh,
We
yeah.
didn't touch on that. They missed the final wreck. That was pretty fun.
they did that
Yeah.
twice. They missed it in the Cup race too. Cindric got spun coming
Yep.
to the white flag, and they just never even acknowledged it.
Yep.
And Christian Eckes is him, so that's about all I've said of truck race.
Yeah.
The Xfinity race was pretty good, by the way. Once again, the
Yeah.
Xfinity race is good. Are we
Crazy.
surprised? No. Eric Almirola gets his win.
Go to roll.
Finally gets his JGR
20
Xfinity
car
Series win.
Yeah.
Racing redemption at his hands.
Wheel.
A lot of maybe not speculation, but a lot of gesturing towards, hey, Eric Almirola, run a full Xfinity Series schedule, which I think would be all right. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna do it though.
Probably won't.
Yeah.
But it would
I
be
don't
pretty,
think he needs
hey,
to
he could.
or
I
wants
bet
to.
he could bring. I bet he could bring Smithfield back to NASCAR with that one.
Maybe. Hey, free bacon at the racetrack.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. Then let's go from the shop.
Oh
no.
God! Once again,
That's
I'm
okay.
not ready.
Crash, clang, pew,
Uh,
ha.
Yeah, there it is.
Marcus Smith versus Denny Hamlin. I have no thoughts because all the tweets were deleted by the time I woke up. Go.
Man, what do you even say about this one that wasn't said already by them?
Just a truly embarrassing thing for everybody involved.
Yeah. Marcus Smith was weird. Denny was weird.
Yeah,
Denny wasn't wrong, but Denny was weird.
yeah,
Happens a lot with him.
So
Happens a lot.
yeah.
another thing that was interesting that I saw making the circuits today was people talking about the amount of TV revenue that the racetracks get. Thought that was weird. We've talked a lot about 2311 being the mover and shaker behind a lot of these charter negotiations not going well in terms of moving towards a resolution because they're the ones that kind of see it as, hey, this is a sport. This is how all the other sports work. The teams get the lion's share of the revenue, not the venues or the sanctioning body. Thought it was weird that information was making the rounds today about the tracks making a lot of money. Also think that, because part of what Denny was saying is the racetracks don't do enough, right? They don't do enough to make a good product. They do the bare minimum. I think he said that, right? Like something about like they did
Something
the bare
like that,
minimum
yeah.
on the pavement just to make it drivable, and then it wasn't. That's a different thing.
Which is true. That did happen at Sonoma.
Yes. That was the nexus point of all of this. Was the track coming up at Sonoma for the GR Supra races out there this weekend or something?
I don't know exactly what was out there that
Some
weekend.
road
But
course racing right after the NASCAR Cup test that was there earlier in the week or the week before. But I think that's where a lot of this comes from. I think, it being Denny Hamlin is probably why I'm saying that, because he's on that team that's kind of seems like they're fighting for the change in the terms of the money balance. And a lot of good points raised about the racetracks and stuff and making amenities better and maybe giving them more incentive to sell tickets. But I digress.
it's no different than the stuff we were talking about with the crew chief blaming the tires and the pictures and all that stuff. All that stuff comes out for a reason. Those negotiations are probably happening this week or happened last week, and it's all just
They didn't
bargaining
go well.
chips. Probably didn't go well. It's all just bargaining chips. I don't entirely, like I said, I don't think Denny's all too wrong. I think it was handled extremely poorly by everybody,
Oh,
the
yeah,
Twitter
that's
spat
not-
especially.
Public
Yeah.
space, not...
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
That was my main problem with it. Is I was like, this is something that obviously yes they're dealing with problems, but clapping at somebody on Twitter at 11 o'clock at night is such a stupid way to go about it.
Yeah, I could
then
even
to
maybe.
To get the CEO to then start dunking, where's your championship? And it's like, grow up. What are you doing, dude?
I could even almost forgive the one clap comment and then the one clap comment back by Marcus Smith, and then it nothing was said. They probably took it to private spaces, right? But the fact that they kept going, just on the Twitter drama spectrum, it just kept going.
Yeah, it got personal, and then Marcus Smith was like, "Why don't I do the same dunk again, and then I'll do it a third time? Maybe this time it'll work." It's
but that's interesting stuff because we love talking about the charter stuff when there's actually charter news, and there really hasn't been other than the occasional, hey, this person wants more money. Hey, we're still negotiating, I guess. We get crumbs anymore, but it is interesting to hear all that from Denny and to hear the likely reasoning as to why he was saying all that, and it's probably because the tracks get quite a bit of money. I mean, Joe, you talk about Michigan all the time with a little bit of contempt.
Yeah, really. I know I'm getting older, so it's a lot easier to see the downside of things. But
but I mean, that's true because there's a lot of
when it was at least nice,
Yeah,
and it wasn't them just slapping a new coat of paint on the same old rickety grandstand.
yeah. But you can tell which tracks have great reputations with the fans, and which tracks you can they all
See,
all of them. Charlotte is really good. Daytona is really good. Darlington is a great racetrack, but the facilities weren't
Suck.
amazing.
They suck.
They were
Just say they
kind of
suck.
below par. No, I mean they didn't suck, but
No, they suck.
It was what you would expect.
Haven't
Maybe
been, but
if
they
I was
suck.
going to an Xfinity standalone event, that level of track. That's what it felt like. Darlington, world-class racetrack and great, whatever. Yeah.
That's why I'm excited to go to Iowa this year to kind of see what they make of it. Obviously, there's been
NASCAR's
pretty
gonna
good.
steal Hy-Vee.
Well, yeah. Sorry, IndyCar. We're gonna steal one of your manufacturers and one of your big sponsors. Deal with it. If you guys aren't gonna capitalize on the boom that you started, we are.
We're taking lunch money too.
Pretty much.
Nerd.
We will now. The Indianapolis 500 will now be a NASCAR points-paying event.
Oh, dude, don't say. You're gonna get people are gonna get real mad about that. That's a really good way. Joe, you want to S post on the Fake Racers account? I'll give you the login. You can say something like that.
Why don't you just tweet it and say it was my fault? Just don't tag my Twitter. How about that?
I'll post a screenshot of a fake Adam Stern tweet.
This
There you
whole
go.
Kyle Larson running the 500 thing. It's just the start. It's a slippery slope from here.
It's just to get it to be a NASCAR event.
Get ready for the next few years because the Indy 500 and the Rolex 24 are both going to be on the NASCAR schedule. Just
Could you imagine? Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah. But Indy's a track where there's been a lot to put into it because that's the only thing Roger Penske cares about.
That was a weirdly perfect segue into that. That kind of accidentally worked so well.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Sad times.
All right. Are we good on this? I know I said I didn't have a lot to say about it, but then I started doing some thinking and then I did.
No,
so I don't know if I
it's good
stole
to-
anyone's thunder.
It's good
But-
to talk about that. I mean,
Yeah.
so much has already been said about that as well. And I mean, what can we really
We're
say
late to
as
the
people
party.
who aren't in the industry? I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who works at any of these racetracks. So
Yeah. They're always hiring at the racetracks too, by the way, for seasonal work because they probably lay everyone off come September instead of just keeping them on. But
yeah, it's true.
digress. They're making 65% of that. What is it? 25. I forget how many $1 million it is a year, but they're making 65% of that, and that's a healthy amount. But yeah, need an extra coffee boy or something for the track president. I don't know.
Damn, that's tough.
Yeah.
Just spitting.
I listen. I obviously do not know how any of the business works. I'm sure there are a lot of very important people that work at the racetracks, but yeah, if it takes 65% of the revenue for the sanction for the series and sanctioning, like you know what I mean, if it takes 65% of that TV revenue to keep the racetrack alive, that's troubling because the racetracks should be able to do more than that. You know what I mean? Like it's a facility, it's a venue. They should have more ways to make income.
I agree.
I don't know.
That's why that's why I always, every time this comes up, I always talk about VAR because VAR does a really good job. It's not an oval, of course, but
Yeah.
VAR does a really good job. VAR has events all year, every day almost, through, whether it be track days or club racing or their big series like IMSA or whatever series is coming through there at the time. They have the military go out there and they do test driving and stuff with night vision goggles at night and stuff like that. They do all sorts of cool stuff.
A lot of revenue generation.
A lot of revenue generated even when the track isn't having race cars on it. Thank
Yeah.
you for getting me to the point, Joe.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, you're good. All right, Matthew. Anything you want to add before we? I don't want to cut you off. I know I saw the screen flashing, so I'm thinking you're searching stuff up.
No, so I did want to talk about something. I mean, more just point out. It's a very interesting thing got posted to the Racing Warehouse Facebook group today.
Oh boy.
Is some sheet metal from last year, from the number 42 team that was supposed to run at Indianapolis, which it was the 42 versus everybody, kind of playing on the fact that nobody liked Noah Gragson. And then he got suspended 2 races before that for
Wait,
something.
Link.
Here, I'll post. Somebody posted a screenshot of it in our Discord earlier.
Do you have the link though?
I don't have the link. I'm not in the Facebook group, but
Oh man. Oh, there it is. Okay. No, you
Yeah.
posted a screenshot. That's
it's just funny.
No, this isn't 42 versus everybody. They had the versus everybody brand on Eric Jones's car at Texas.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay. I didn't know exactly what this was.
They did Dallas versus everybody, but let me tell you, it started as Detroit versus everybody. I'm just putting that out there.
Here we go.
It was Detroit
no wonder
first.
he knows everything about
It was
this.
Detroit because everyone wanted to get down on this city. All the automakers went bankrupt. One of them left for freaking Italy. I still support them though, like an idiot. But this
Joe,
city's
how's that lease
resilient.
going? Is there something you want?
It's actually going pretty well.
Okay.
I still enjoy my vehicle.
I just wanted to
I'm
make
glad
sure.
it's only for 2 years though. And I looked at the residual value that I'd have to pay if I wanted to buy the car after. We'll see if it's a good deal. It looks like a good deal to me now, but we'll see at 20,000 miles when the lease is up.
Oh no.
All right, Road to Pro moments.
Okay. Well, that clears that up. So.
Yeah. Matthew, Road to Pro moment.
What is my Road to Pro moment? Oh, so even though there wasn't a Supercross race this week, I'm gonna make it about moto. So
Hell yeah.
I had an interjection that I could have done earlier, and I totally didn't. So my Road to Pro moment is it's not necessarily the thing that happened. It's more of the way that the community has reacted to something. So Adam Cianciarulo, one of my favorite riders, announced that he is retiring after the next 5 races. He's not running outdoors after the Supercross season rounds up. And Adam's career is very much a case of what could have been. His 450 debut was one of the best debuts ever until Jet Lawrence showed up. And here we are 4 years later, and he's never won a 450 Supercross race, which is unbelievable to consider when you looked at how he's debuted. And it's been because of injuries. He's had this like recurring nerve damage injury that just makes it hard to ride. And he announced that he's hanging it up after this year. Funnily enough, his mechanic's last race was this most recent race because he's going to work for JGR, which is kind of funny. But despite the fact that you could kind of make a case that Adam's a bust, I personally wouldn't, but it's been really cool to see how the entire moto community has like rallied around like, let's remember how awesome this dude was. And like, he's still got 5 more races. He's more than likely not going to even score a podium just because of the way his season's been going. But like, my road to pro moment is just how like, even with somebody who you could argue didn't live up to expectations, the way that everybody is like fully embraced him and been like, let's honor this guy, and not only the kind of guy he is, but how awesome he is at riding a motorcycle and everything. So it made me very touchy feely this week. So yeah. Who wants to go next?
Love that. I'll go. My road pro moment is we finally, so like obviously I moved like a month or so ago, over a month ago. Good Lord. It's been a while.
Been a while.
But we kind of got, I'm not showing anyone on this damn show this. At least anyone that watches, I'll show after we're done recording. But we kind of got everything sort of situated in the office, and it's really nice to have a room that's like kind of one that I wanted. Like it's set up how I kind of wanted, you know, obviously with Lauren too, but like kind of set up like where this is what I want. This is cool. This is great. Looks good. It's mine. It feels good to have something that's mine.
Nice. That's great.
That's good.
Good.
Had a really good weekend doing that to set me up for my hell day today. So
That's good. That's good. That's good. Good.
Joe?
My road to pro moment, it was WrestleMania weekend, as I noted at the start. And if you waited this long for this, let me tell you, good job. Cody Rhodes finally finished his effing story. He finally won the title. Finally, I don't care. It's real to me. Damn it. Cody Rhodes finished the story. Emotional. It was cool. WrestleMania was fun. It's cool to see something that you loved as a kid be fun again, because when it was a kid, technically it wasn't that great. Because like you go back and watch it, and you're like, ugh. But it's cool to be having fun again watching something that you grew up with, and it's kind of like a comfort thing. Like NASCAR has always been my comfort thing, and wrestling to a lesser extent, and now it feels like that balance is starting to shift a little bit, which is weird, but yeah, I don't know. That's my road to pro moment, though. Cody Rhodes finishing his story, good story. You should watch it, or at least understand the psychology of it, because that's what makes pro wrestling fun, is when they tell good stories, not necessarily when they have great matches.
I totally know how you feel with that. Like, I have this weird nostalgia for the like early, like when NASCAR came back from their COVID break, because from the time that Dale Jr. started getting hurt really bad in 2016 until that, I got like pretty disenfranchised with NASCAR, to so much so that I barely even watched 2019. Like, I remember like 2, maybe 3 races that I watched start to finish that year. And 2020, I was like kind of hyped, but I was still kind of disenfranchised. And that like 4-month break, or not, it wasn't even that long, that like couple month break that we had where there was just nothing, it made me really realize like how much I missed it and how much I loved it. And then once NASCAR came back, even though the racing was okay, it was just cool to just be like back into NASCAR again after like realizing that I was like, damn, I did miss this a lot. So I feel you.
Yeah, I like that. I went through a similar NASCAR divorce.
Yeah.
right around like 2014-ish, you know. It wasn't because of anything that NASCAR was doing. I was just like, this isn't really what I want anymore. And I still remember like 2016 season, like especially it's like, okay, yeah, I'll kind of pay attention, and then like Jimmy's doing well, and then the playoffs start and he's really doing well, and I remember falling back in love so hard with it over the course of that playoff season. It's a really good feeling. So Joe, I'm happy you have that.
Yeah.
We'll see how it
Hell
keeps me afloat. Folks, can't thank you enough, as always, for listening to the Fake Racers podcast or watching. We'd appreciate it if you haven't already. Again, click the like button on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. Doing those things helps us so much here on the Track and Turf YouTube. You can also make sure you're following at Fake Racers on X. Leave a like, comment, review on your favorite podcast platforms. That is also a very, very big help. This week on JTN, we got Maverick Cup Series race. It's Tuesday night, so it'll be the same day that this show comes out. So that's Tuesday, April 9th. TMP season finale from Atlanta. It's a double header, as they've been doing all season long, on Wednesday. And then the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series, as of course, always on Thursdays. Dewey and I on the call for that one from Daytona, so that'll be a good one there. Davey, you're streaming this weekend. You had a big win on Saturday, too. All-timer
Yes,
of
I
a
did.
moment. Didn't think you won.
Moly.
Then
Did
going
not think I
halfway
won.
through turn one, it updated.
I went into turn one thinking I got second by that little bit after all of that racing, and I was punching my knee, and then I looked up and I saw it change, and then people were saying good win, and I was like, really? And I punched my knee again.
That clip will get uploaded at some point this week. I'm making it a priority to make that happen.
Oh my gosh.
And you can check the replay on Davey's Twitch at D7H5er with an ER at the end. Matt at MSteelman51 on Twitter. Anything going on this week? Are you racing this weekend at all, or is it an off
Hoping
week?
to.
Okay.
It rained last week, so I didn't get to run, which is great because we have a state qualifier at the end of this month at my home track, and then a national after that. So I need to get some reps in because I'm very rusty right now.
Oh.
So
You got this.
Yeah.
You got this.
Oh,
You're the only guy that we do we sponsor you, by the way? Do we sponsor you at all?
Matt.
I have real sponsors now, so I don't know about that.
Damn.
Matt.
We
Have you
just
been
Unfortunately.
checking, Matt, have you been checking your mail?
I did a few days ago. I'm gonna go check it after this though. So
Okay. Good.
I was gonna say if there's a sticker, I'll put it on my number plate though.
there we
so
go. All right.
Good.
It'll go on my bike.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Folks, again, we appreciate you listening so much. Do all those things to help support us. We appreciate that so much. We know it's the extra mile, and we appreciate you going through it for us. That's this week's edition of the Fake Racers podcast. We'll see you next week after Texas. We didn't crap on Texas at all this week. We're going to do it next week. Tune in.
Just
Next
you
week.
wait.
It's also an
Fake Racers.
intermediate. It's probably going to be accidentally really good. Don't.
Yeah.
Maybe wait.
Fake Racers podcast next week, post Texas. We'll see you guys then.
Bye.